Hey kids, it's time for a new episode of Cooking with Doctor Gool. Glad you guys could make it, because today we're gonna do something just a little bit different. Ooh, yeah, a little bit different. We'll call this a special episode of Cooking with Doctor Gool. You see, people stop me all the time. They say, Dr. G, tell me something. I'm trying to understand the movies that you're showing, but I just can't get it through my head because some of them are so painfully bad. I just don't understand what I'm looking at. Well, I get that concern, man. And as a connoisseur of bad movies, of good bad movies, of improper or proper bad movies, also known as B movies, sometimes C movies, and even D minus movies, I'm here to help. So let me tell you what you have to do. You can't just go running in and jump on, Fred's independent surrealism film. You can't do that, man. There are steps you have to take. There are movies that you should actually watch before you start diving in to the stranger, the more unusual, and in some cases, the creepier movie. Okay, now let's get our rules straight. First off, no kids films. You can't count those, okay? Thunder, Lava, Jaws Girl, you can't count that stuff. And I even discount Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, and because those were aimed at children, and they're supposed to be silly. 2, you cannot count anything that's ever been on Sci-Fi Network, at least made for Sci-Fi Network, because those are intentionally bad. Those are, we're gonna make a crappy film and put Tara Reid in it, and that's just a terrible idea. But perhaps I judge. Now hang out with us, and we're gonna go through the top 10 films you need to see, or types of film, school of film if you will, before you can be a connoisseur of the B movie like I, Dr. G, am. So stay tuned.
What time is it?
Almost 4:30. Almost dawn. We should be home in another hour.
This man's name is Martin Gordon. The lovely girl beside him is Brett, his bride of 2 wonderful weeks. It's late August. They're returning from their honeymoon to their home in quiet, peaceful Angel County, California. Martin's Uncle Ben is sheriff of Angel County, and Martin is his senior deputy. Martin has high hopes of succeeding his uncle when Ben retires. But for now, Martin has only the thoughts, emotions, and pride of a very happy, newly married young man. Brett is his, and he feels no man could ask for more. And now, without warning, their honeymoon is to become a nightmare. Neither Martin nor Brett saw the glowing rocket descend in the early morning sky. It was reported to the sheriff's office by Jeff, the county forest ranger. Jeff reported to Sheriff Ben that a plane had crashed near Willow Creek and that he was going out to investigate. Ben said he would join him as soon as possible. Barney, Ben's junior deputy, was to summon medical aid and to see if he could rouse someone at the Air Authority in San Francisco.
Uncle Ben, honey. Must be an accident or something.
There's a plane crash down the road a couple of miles. I'm going to be a little short-handed till help gets here. Go around back of me. Come along, both of you.
Get in, honey.
At the location of the crash, they discovered Jeff's truck, but Jeff himself was not around. They proceeded with their investigation. They looked at the rocket in utter amazement. A puzzled Ben finally asked Martin what he made of the craft.
It's no airplane.
Could be one of our missiles.
Or one of theirs.
You could be right, honey. Don't think we have anything this big.
Ben could not understand why the craft wasn't severely damaged.
This hat belongs to Jeff Peters. Jeff! Jeff! Jeff, are you in there? Martin, go back to my car and get my flashlight.
All right, now let's start off with the first film, the first entry-level, strange and unusual movie that you really need to sit down and watch, okay? If you don't understand it at first, give it a minute. Nobody's gonna be winning an Oscar for any of these movies. So just kick back, relax, have a gummy bear or two. I mean, just relax, enjoy a good, bad movie. Now, the first film you really ought to start with for the strange, the unusual entertainment is The Evil Dead. The Evil Dead. Brilliantly original film. Sam Raimi, Todd Raimi also in this, of course. Bruce Campbell started off the bulk of his career from this. Evil Dead is a very strange, very creative take on this almost Cthulhuoid legend that they even put a Necronomicon in and some gore, and by gore I mean big buckets of black ink flying out of a hand or some other stuff. There's actually several films in the series. The first two I'll count. Even the third one, really, now that I think about it, isn't bad at all. There's Evil Dead, Evil Dead 2, which I think you really should call Evil Dead, TOO, because it's like the first movie, but they kind of redid their own movie. And then there's Evil Dead Army of Darkness, which has a lighter feel to it, a bigger budget, but still a quality film. So let's take a moment and let's look at the trailer for The Evil Dead.
Possessed by the spirits of the book is through the act of bodily dismemberment.
I don't care what happens to her. She's your girlfriend. You take care of her.
Dan, don't go in there. You don't know what's in there.
I think I hear him moving inside. Maybe he's hurt.
Dan, please don't. Dan. Dan. Car 1, calling in. Car 1, calling in.
Within the hour, Martin's unusual call for assistance was answered by a special unit led by a Colonel James Caldwell.
Let's get going. Let's go. Let's go. Move it over. Let's get going. Let's go. Let's go. All right, back on the truck. Let's go. Sergeant, take one man and check it out. Yes, sir. Okay.
The sergeant reported seeing an amazingly large creature in the aft section of the strange craft. He further reported that it was secured by a kind of metal harness, but that the creature could still move around somewhat, and for that reason they had not gotten too close to it. There was no trace of either Ben or Jet. The colonel ordered continuous guard duty around the spaceship and decided to set up a temporary military headquarters at the sheriff's office in town. In a remote section of the county, the first of a series of tragedies took place. Tragedies that would have been avoided had the public been warned.
Welcome back, kids, from The Creeping Terror, another classic horrible movie that somehow wound up in the public domain. I can't imagine why somebody else would give the rights up to this piece of movie. Creeping Terror, late 50s. I mean, these are gimme films. These are, if you can't get through one of these films, you're really in the long line of work, you're in the wrong place, man. But anyway, let's go to the second film on the list of 10 that you really should take the time to watch to be a connoisseur of not so good but original kinds of films. Now, back in the late 70s and throughout the 80s, there were about 10 billion Star Wars ripoffs. Star this, star that, Journey this, blah, 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 blah. 10 bazillion of them. I think that's an actual count, 10 bazillion, give or take half a zillion. Now, among those, there is one that stands out above them all. It's got the wonderful lady, Miss Carolyn Monroe, who, if she would just call me, you'll ring, I think, take you out for a Coke or something, we'll hang out, we'll talk about Gool stuff, good movies, bad movies, and anyway, I distract. But it is called Star Crash. And it is a retching bit of awfulness that etches itself into your brain and almost never leaves. You see, it's a little more intense than the first film. The first film, we talked about Evil Dead, of course. Now we're going a little darker, a little stranger, when we go to Star Crash. And I think somebody might have had an idea. And then I really don't know what happened after that. It just fell to funk. And I'm not talking about Parliament either. So let's take just a minute and let's watch the trailer for Star Crash.
Our galaxy is split into two warring factions, our own and the one ruled by the evil Count Zartan from the League of the Dark Worlds. The Count has created a weapon so vast, so huge, that it would take a whole planet to conceal it. You must sail to the haunted stars, find the Count's secret planet, and destroyed.
Later that day, while they were awaiting the arrival of Dr. Bradford, Martin instructed Barney, on advice from Colonel Caldwell, to plant in the local papers the news that Ben and Jeff had taken off on a fishing trip to British Columbia. The colonel had impressed the bereaved families with the necessity of maintaining secrecy, and these brave relatives had agreed. Despite Brett's inquiries about what Martin had seen in the spacecraft, he avoided specific details for fear of disturbing her more than she was. If the truth were known, Martin was more than a little disturbed himself. Shortly thereafter, Dr. Bradford arrived. He was a much younger man than one would imagine him to be.
Martin, I'd like for you to meet Dr. Bradford.
I've heard a lot about you from the colonel.
Nothing bad, I trust.
Martin and his wife were in the original party that found the fallen craft.
I was sorry to hear about your uncle. It's a tough break. I hope you're feeling better.
Yes, thank you. A couple hours of sleep did a world of good.
Bradford thanked the colonel for his assistance and then asked to speak to Martin. Bradford questioned Martin about everything that had transpired. Martin did his best to recall everything in precise detail, but really didn't have much for him. The two soldiers that entered the rocket earlier had been summoned, and Bradford hoped to learn more from them. The doctor himself would not enter the rocket until the arrival of certain equipment. From his discussion, it was apparent that the doctor considered this situation a magnificent opportunity for mankind. He felt that if he could communicate with the creature, it might be possible to advance human knowledge by years or even centuries. The spaceship alone signified an intellectual development far in advance of anything on Earth. When Martin asked him how he intended to protect himself from the creature, Bradford said not to worry, that he hadn't come here to be victimized either by his own or the creature's fears.
Barney, you should try marriage. It would do wonders for you.
Barney and Martin had been bachelor buddies for years, but now that Martin was settling down to marriage, they were slowly drifting apart. Barney, naturally, was still dating all the girls in town, and he couldn't understand why Brett and Martin didn't pal around with him more than they did. He couldn't comprehend that married life brought with it not only new problems and duties, but the necessary togetherness of husband and wife as well. Despite Brett's most tactful considerations, such as inviting him over to dinner quite often, Barney was growing resentful of her, or at least she felt that he was. Since time began, this change in relationship has probably happened to all buddies in similar circumstances. Life has its way of making boys grow up, and with marriage, Martin's time had come. His life was now Brett, a life that he thoroughly enjoyed.
Bye, honey.
The next morning, Betty Johnson, as usual, blew a goodbye kiss to her husband, but for the last time.
Poor baby. Let Mommy take your temperature. Poor baby. You'll feel better soon.
All right, now the next movie we need to look at in our list of movies to grow and enhance your knowledge of the strange and the bizarre bit of cinema, the kind of things we like to host here at Cooking with Dr. Gool. And that is the Ed Wood standard, Plan 9 from Outer Space. Now this has been called the worst movie ever made. That's rubbish. There are lots of movies much worse than Plan 9 from Outer Space. This, I promise you. At least Ed Wood had passion. Ed Wood may have been nutty as a fruit bat. Anyway, but his movies had drive. He had passion. He knew what he wanted, and he put it up on the screen. And what he saw, I don't think it matched what we saw, but that's okay. Go into it bravely. You've seen a few movies to lead up to this. Now let's take a look at a clip from Ed Wood's Plan 9 from Outer Space.
safe to state that the grandchildren of some of the people in this dinner will not be born on Earth. They come from the bowels of hell, a transformed race of walking dead, zombies guided by a master plan for complete domination of the Earth. Plan 9 from outer space. Starring the most nightmarish cast ever, Bela Lugosi, the seductive Vampira, and Tor Johnson as the Walking Dead.
Turn off your electrode gun! No! No! Stop him, Dennis!
I can't get it, it's jammed!
Stop him, you fool!
Bullets bounce off their bodies. Rockets, missiles, jets cannot stop their death ships. What earthly power can stop this terror? For a glimpse of things to come, see this blast of screen suspense. For it could be happening right now.
Grandpa, can I go for a walk?
All right, but stay close by. Bobby. Bobby. Bobby! 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 Bobby. Bobby. Help! 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 Help!
Within 48 hours, Dr. Bradford had closely examined the creature and the spaceship and reached a number of conclusions. He was sure the creature had come from beyond our solar system because it adapted to our environment so quickly, and no planet or dead star near us has conditions similar to the Earth. Of special interest to him was the hull of the ship. It was composed of an alloy unlike anything human science had ever encountered. The doctor had run a number of tests on the metal, but its molecular structure remained a mystery. Because there was no food on board, Bradford presumed the creature had been in a state of suspended animation, particularly because it had survived the trials of re-entry and impact without apparent harm. So far, he had no success in communicating with it, but he had not yet exhausted all possibilities. On a more subjective basis, he had the curious feeling that the creature did not want to communicate with him. Such a confession on the part of this eminent scientist made Martin feel quite apprehensive. While on a routine call to pick up instructions from Colonel Caldwell, Martin received an urgent message from Barney. Barney was at Willow Creek. He had responded to a phone call from a frantic Mrs. Brown. Her husband and grandson had gone fishing and were long overdue. Barney was instructed to organize a search party locally and to report the results to Martin. Because of security regulations, he was not to come near the area of the spacecraft. Martin said he would join Barney later if he could.
Okay, here we are again. Hope you're enjoying your movie. You know, getting into the rhythm of things, getting to see how things are going here as we go down our list of have to sees. Have to sees? Yeah, I'll go with that phrase. Really bad, or at least very alternatively original. How's that? Movies. So you can become a connoisseur of crap like the mad scientist here, Doctor Gool, can be. Now that we've tackled Ed Wood's Plan 9, the next thing we need to go is go a little bit deeper into the strange, a little bit further into the misguided. And this film is called Manos, the Hands of Fate, which, if you think about it, is kind of like saying hands, the hands of fate, like you've got a bizarre, slow stutter or something along those lines. But Manos was made just about on a dare. You know, they had a very limited budget. They took a swing and they missed. There's not even really stock footage. There are moments in the film where you see the camera start rolling. You know, you see people starting to do things. They don't explain anything, really. It's just like one thing happens and another thing happens, and gross incompetence and fire and a dog. But once you've gone through it, you've got it under your belt. It's not so bad after all. It's got kind of an aftertaste, you know, but it's worth watching, especially if you're going to understand the movies that follow. So let's take a quick look at Manos, the Hands of Fate.
We're almost there, honey. Just a little while longer and your vacation starts.
Inside this magic circle, keep your head up high. I wonder where they're going.
Man, like there's nothing up that road.
I could have sworn we didn't make a wrong turn.
You must have. Where did the road go?
No need to get upset. We'll find it.
You know, we should have asked for better directions at the last gas station.
Listen, I've never gotten us lost before. Now look, the sign pointed this way.
Mike, let's go back to the crossroads and ask those kids we saw.
Okay, but I know we can't be wrong. Look, the sign pointed this way. Where did this place come from? It wasn't here a few minutes ago.
I don't care. Let's see if we can get some directions.
I am Torgo. I take care of the place while the master is away.
We only want to know where Valley Lodge is.
Which way do we go?
There is no way out of here. It will be dark soon. There is no way out of here.
No way out?
Well, you know, we could spend the night here, and then tomorrow we could...
Mike, I don't want to spend the night here. I don't like the looks of the place.
Well, it seems we have no alternative. Well, how about it, Torgo? Can we spend the night here?
I'll get the luggage.
I'll be glad to leave. I've had all of this place I want.
Madam, it will be very dangerous to leave now. The master wants you.
Wants me? What kind of talk is that?
He wants you for his wife.
Arise, my wives. Give ear to the words of Manos. Arise, my wives, and hear the will of Manos.
Mike, help us. Oh, my God.
Manos, God of primal darkness, as thou hast decreed, so have I done. The hands of fate have doomed this man. Thy will is done. Manos will be served.
Acting on a hunch, Martin decided to see for himself if the monster was still there. It was. Bradford had installed TV cameras inside the spaceship and was testing the creature's reactions to sound, light, electricity, color, and air pressure. When Martin asked him if he had any luck in communicating with the beast, Bradford confessed that he hadn't, but would try again when certain data was returned to him from computer processing. It was at this time that Bradford came up with a frightening theory, namely that the creature might be a product of engineering, the same engineering that built the spaceship. What he didn't understand was why some form of communication had not been built into the creature. When Martin asked him if this weren't something to worry about, Bradford said no. It was probably his own failing at not being able to establish communications. It seemed to Martin that if Bradford's theory were correct, humanity might be in grave danger. Bradford dismissed Martin's fears by pointing out that the creature was not exhibiting any signs of violence, and besides, it was firmly secured by the harness. That afternoon in Moncrief Park, a group of neighbors got together for a hootenanny.
She left me sad, but still I am happy. In fact, I am glad, for I am as free as that bird in the tree, 'cause she left me alone and could not marry me. I said that I loved her and would till I died. I tried to forget her, and I really did try, but I'll still think of her till the day that I die, 'cause I think
What is it?
You stay there. Stay calm.
In response to a multiple missing persons report, Martin and Barney searched the countryside for the group of picnickers. The only trace they found of them was the remains of a guitar one of them carried. This wholesale disappearance of a large group of people, coupled with earlier missing persons reports, led Martin to only one conclusion. There must be another monster, and it was on the loose. The colonel listened to Martin's theory and, after consulting with Bradford, decided to call Washington. He was told to follow his own good judgment, but under no circumstances was he to alarm the populace. The colonel decided to organize a county-wide search. Martin's assignment was to search the north end of the county. While Martin and Brett were engaged by the search, the monster was moving toward the community dance hall.
All right, kids, welcome back. We're glad to have you. Hope you're enjoying this mad mess of a movie. The Creeping Terror. Now, as we continue to go down our list, another movie that comes up that not a lot of people are ready for. By now, you should have been, led up a path to this film. Manos was almost creepy, almost gritty, nearly dark. And now we get to, which brings us to this film, and that is Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. Now, Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things it's a classic bit of schnorf. And schnorf is a ghoul word that I've made for, oh my God, I can't believe I watched it all. Like, I can't get it out of my brain, though, and I want to see it again. About the third or fourth time you watch it, it's the greatest film ever made. But you might be halfway down a bag of gummies at that point, so it's hard to tell which it is. But Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things is a unique take, and I can't even really call it the zombie genre. It's more of a dark magic, zombie-ish, creepy. It's creepy. It's meant to be creepy. It's supposed to be. Oh man, who am I kidding? This is not a great film, but it is a fun movie, and it brings us further down the scale from crap to crap. So let's take a quick look at a clip from Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things.
It's Alan. He's such a dear boy. Oh, this is Jeffy. He's so full of fun. Oh, this is Anya. Isn't she just the sweetest thing? And this is their new friend, Smedley. They're giving him a party. It's his coming out party. Oh, the children are having such fun. They're laughing and laughing. And it all began here, one foggy winter's evening.
1971. Oh. He ought to be ripe. It's party time. It's the shank of the evening. My friend Orville and I are having cocktails in 10 minutes at my island cottage.
Alan, you're not really going to take that thing back to the cottage.
I, Alan, take this body.
Yeah, and welcome to it. You deserve everything you're getting.
There's no business like show business like...
And I think, in time, we may get even closer.
I'm going to take your scraps and feed them to my dog. Well, that's all right. Just keep a stiff upper lip.
Oh, yes, they had such a wonderful time. They laughed and laughed and laughed. That is, until Orville's friends dropped in. Then they screamed and screamed and children had such a lovely time. It's too bad nobody ever told them children shouldn't play with dead things.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that little tidbit of madness. Welcome back, though, from the Creeping Terror. And we go further down the list from crap movies to crap movies. Now we've gone into a genre place in our list, okay? And part of the genre is a director who actually defines his own genre. And that's a gentleman that was named Ray Dennis Steckler. Ray Dennis was well known for a handful of very small films. The best known is The Incredibly Strange Creatures Who Stopped Living and Became Mixed Up Zombies. Now, if you haven't seen this movie, that's okay. You need to, because it's disjointed and oddly paced and strangely framed. It's somebody called him an alternative filmmaker. I'll call him a guy that's got an idea, knows how to fluff up a big film, and have some fun with it. He put some friends in here, he put some family in here. These people show up from movie to movie. But a better film, or worse film, depending on how you look at it, to get down our list with is the horror ensemble of Blood Shack. Now, Blood Shack it's almost an hour long. Almost. Okay, it's barely a movie. It's like a short story that exploded with stock footage of a rodeo, lots of unnecessary narration, and the most intelligent and coherent speech in the entire film is done by a 4-year-old, and I'm not joking. It really is. So take a look at this clip from Blood Shack.
There is a legend about this valley, a tale carried across the winds of time, a legend strange and sinister, the legend of the trooper.
What kind of ghost would haunt a place like this? It's a dump.
It's an old Indian ghost. It's gonna come out at night and it's gonna get them.
Kills people?
I heard about your ghost and how it kills people. Well, I ain't a chicken, not like my friends. I dare it to get me.
You know the only history that place has got is about 150 years history of death in it. You know that.
The trooper legend?
I'm the local constable. I was just on my way up to see. Well, I'm checking most of the ranches around. I'm looking for a couple of kids. Local kids. They turned up missing, and, well, nobody can find them. It's all the same to you, Miss Brown. I'd like to check out that old house. A lot of strange stories connected to that old place.
Stay away, you hear me? Stay away. The trooper will get you.
While Martin and Brett were taking a break from the search, a call came through which confirmed Martin's theory. Colonel Caldwell told them of the monster's attack at the dance hall. His troops now had orders to destroy the monster, and he asked for Martin's assistance. Martin said he would join the colonel as quickly as possible. The monster next appeared in Lover's Lane. Anyone who experienced that catastrophe and survived would never go there again.
God!
right, welcome back, kids. And welcome to our list as we continue to count down the films you absolutely have to see to be a connoisseur of crappy films. Now, the next genre film that we're talking about, genre? Genre, maybe? No, genre's a kaiju. Anyway, the next genre film, and they're not even really genre films. They're directors that became their own genre. And these directors, like we mentioned before, Ray Dennis Stickler, and the next director on that list is a gentleman named Jess Franco. Yeah. Now, Jess would run the gamut from genius, like his version of Dracula with Christopher Lee, which is much closer to the book than almost any version of Dracula that you're going to see out there. A brilliant film, and I mean that. I'd throw that against Hammer or Amicus or any of those any day of the week. Really good stuff. Then he would cross the road and do films where women are in various cages and prisons and prison cages and jails and prisons, and I think there are probably some showers or something like that. I didn't say they weren't enjoyable. Now, then he did a lot of vampire films, which usually had to deal with naked and semi-naked women and women with women, and which are some really enjoyable films, if I say so myself. And I just did say that. Anyway, Jess has a great eye for, no pun intended, for a lot of these kinds of films. And a personal favorite, when we're looking at the idea of strange and unusual way of looking at things, and that's called A Virgin Among the Living Dead. And that title tells you everything you need to know about this film. So kick back and let's watch a short trailer for A Virgin Among the Living Dead.
It was almost an hour before Caldwell learned of the monster's devastating new attack. Colonel Caldwell wasted no time ordering his men into action. It was at this point that Bradford interceded. He demanded that the monster be taken alive at all costs. The colonel's protests about the dead and missing made no impression on Bradford. Caldwell conceded to the point of assuring Bradford that they would not destroy the monster if they could avoid it.
Get on with it, Lieutenant.
Move it out, men.
When Martin's party arrived and offered to help, the colonel told them enough lives were being endangered. They were to be part of the second line of defense, to be used only if necessary.
Welcome back, kids, and welcome to Dr. Gool's list of 10 movies you have to see before you can be a connoisseur of really crappy films. And we're well on our way. We're well into the genre films of directors who invented their own genre. And the next director on our list is a gentleman named Gene Roland. No S. Okay? Gene brought us films. There's a vampire trilogy in particular. He made a lot of vampire movies. But the vampire trilogy that he did was well known for extended periods of silence, artistic flair and strangeness on... You're not really sure what point he's trying to make. There are big washes of color, you know, lots of no sound, a compelling amount of nudity, which in my personal opinion sets off, like I said, most films. In his case, they're not dirty films. They're artistic films. And artistic merit can be debated till the cows come home, but I don't have any cows. So that's kind of a moot point. My point is, Requiem for a Vampire is a film that has lots of silence, a ridiculous amount of pointless nudity, some clowns, I think perhaps a mime, you know, I'm not sure what she is exactly. They said they're kids on a school trip, but they're obviously not. There was like some... Anyway, kick back, let's watch a clip from Requiem for a Vampire.
The sergeant, a shaken man, returned babbling about what had happened. Caldwell, realizing the full danger of the situation, decided he had only one means left to stop the monster: grenades. Now Bradford made a drastic move. Acting on his superior authority, he forbade Caldwell to destroy the creature. The colonel, more concerned with saving human lives than advancing science, told Bradford to go to hell.
Get out of my way.
Okay, here we are again. We're really getting down to the nitty-gritty now, man. The last two films on our list of things you have to see to be the real top-tier expert on the crazy, the profane, and the unusual in cinema. Now, let's keep in mind, there are other movies out there, but these are the heads of each level of film. These are the films I recommend. These are the films that will do you the most to understanding the strange, the unusual, and the outsider kind of films. Now, this particular film was made by a French filmmaker who had a video store back in the early 80s, and he goes, you know, I could make a film that's better than this crap. I could market it myself, I could save a fortune, and I can make lots of money. Problem was, the movie was just painfully bad. Painfully bad. It's not the film you want to start off with. This should not be your first unusual film. Don't start here. It will burn you to a crisp. Looking at this untempered will burn you to a raisin. And it's called Ogroff, the Mad Mutilator. Ooh. Well, there's some madness in it, I suppose. There's very little dialogue. Squishy, tiny, almost no dialogue. There's kind of music in it, sort of. One actor makes an appearance toward the very end of the film, not connected to the film in any other way. And we have a killer that's totally not a derivative of Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw, totally unrelated to Jason Voorhees from the Friday the 13th films, and there's something to do with the McGregor football, I think. Very strange film. Like I said, this is an advanced bit of madness. So stay with me and watch a little bit from Ogroff, the Mad Mutilator.
Where's he going in such a hurry?
Maybe you'd better follow him. He may need help.
You go ahead, Martin. I'll stay with Carl.
All right, and here we are, y'all. This is the peak. This is the pinnacle. This is the top bottom of our list. The best of the worst films that money can buy, people can steal, you can burn off, write off, steal off. Doesn't matter. These films are off, okay? And the biggest, baddest one that I have saved for the end, the most advanced film. Do not try this one first, all right? Your kids will not need if you watch this one first, okay? This film is called The Shatter Dead, okay? Shatter Dead takes the zombie genre and takes a whole different flip on it, man. It's more of a socio-economic problem for the zombies, symbolized by the zombies, and every gun you'll see is a penis. Everyone, and I mean everyone. And that thing you're asking yourself, yes, it does. This is not a film for children. This is not a film for amateurs. This is a film for the seasoned professional, one that has spent hours watching films that would burn an ordinary human being to crisp. So hang out just a minute longer and watch this clip from The Shatter Dead.
All those who are within the sound of my voice, I demand your attention as I read aloud from the manifesto of the new order of every man, woman, and child currently residing on this planet.
Welcome to the last days of the old generation.
We are dead. God has done this to us so that we may join him in the world of immortality.
Sure, God is gone, and he's opened a really big can of theological worms this time.
I don't want to scare you, but I'm really scared.
Be ugly. Be frail. Let the standing nails be pounded down. You vain and wicked people, you will learn humility in the face of God. hates you.
The explosion loosened the harness on the monster and allowed it to escape. Martin tried to help the doctor, but there was no time. Bradford told Martin what he had just confirmed, that these monsters were highly specialized test animals. They were, in fact, mobile laboratories that consumed human beings in order to analyze them chemically, undoubtedly to detect weaknesses in the human species. He told Martin that the information fed into a computer in the spacecraft. Further, he added, now that both monsters were dead, the computer would activate a transmitter to send the results into outer space. Martin knew what he had to do. As Martin entered the spaceship, he heard the transmitter generator kick on. The super tough alloys of the spacecraft were not even dented by Martin's hammering. As the transmitter stopped, Martin felt sick. Evidently, all the information had been transmitted. On Martin's return, he confessed his failure. He slowly asked Bradford what was in store for humanity. Bradford was pessimistic, but implied that maybe all was not lost. After all, he told them, the vastness of the universe is incredible. If these monsters had come from its outer limits, their home might even no longer exist. Or if they do come again, perhaps man will have advanced enough to cope with them and those who made them. Only God knows for sure, were Bradford's last words to anyone on this earth.
You made it! You made it all the way through the end of The Creeping Terror! What a brilliantly bad film. They said I can make a movie with cardboard and a rug and some of the kids dancing, which is probably the most coherent part of the movie. Now, you've gone through all of the films you need to see. I expect you to go through all 10 of those and do a report and tell it in the comments on our YouTube channel. Do a search. It's Cooking with Dr. Gool. I don't have my name on the end of it yet. You know, semantics, green hair. Anyway, see the movies. Become an expert. Shoot me an email to let me know what you dug about it. It's maddrgool, Gool, at gmail.com. Let me know what you thought. Let me know what you saw. And I will see you next time. So from all of us here to all of you there, bon appetite.